Hello and welcome back to the Dynamic Duo podcast. As you can see, today you've got your host, Kanan, you've got your host, MMA King Chris Jr., and we've got a special interview guest from the RIP, but he's also the RIP man himself, Owen.
Hey, pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So, if you don't know what this is, we've done a lovely interview with one of his co-hosts, also people on the movie, which was Jasmine Keane. This is the RP man himself, the guy running around stealing people's teeth, which I always found was a very interesting and intriguing idea because as a slasher fan myself, it's quite ironic because I never thought of anybody coming up with that idea. And Jibber Jabber Podcast is in the comments saying, Owen, my guy.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. So the RIP man, like I said, one of the things that I loved about this movie was that your character has such a unique backstory for a horror movie. And the fact that it's not been done in the way that you have done it before is actually quite surprising to me because it feels like when it comes to the horror genre, a lot of the stuff that you especially nowadays see is usually like a retelling or like a reshape of an already story that you've already seen before. So when you first originally got that script, were you like, oh yes, something fresh and original, or was it more like, oh, I'm curious on how this character will develop as it goes along?
I did think it was quite original when I saw it. Like, I was thinking like I'd never actually seen anything where like someone was taking a tooth from each victim, which was quite a unique concept. And it is one, as you said, it's one of those things where you're like, how has this not been done before? Because it's quite a creepy, it feels like an obvious slasher trope that doesn't exist,
Yeah,
that hasn't existed yet. Yeah. I was excited. There was so much to the character. There was so much, got the whole film is basically sort of telling his story and his motives for what he's doing, and it's quite a fleshed out killer. So I was excited to take on that role.
Seriously, I could imagine because I'm a big fan of the horror genre, and that's one of the things that I was very shocked by. I was like, when I was watching it, I was like, huh. I'm surprised no one has ever really thought of this before because it's one of these things that you've seen things like the dentist and stuff where like they kill you with a drill, but it was never to steal the teeth, or if it was stealing the teeth, it was more like they're stealing all the body parts more than just specifically the teeth. But also the fact that it's actually explained really well because he's got a degenerative tooth disease that made him lose his teeth, which is a very unique concept because a lot of people I know specifically, when you watch the movie, you're like, most people are learning about that condition whilst you're watching the movie. It's not something you would generically know, which was also very interesting.
Oh yeah, me too. Like I'd never heard of it before reading the script, but Reese, the writer, that was the birth of the RIP man. Was he saw a documentary on Anodontia, and I guess it gave him the idea for the whole story. Everything developed from there. I think he thought, he thought the character thought of that disease kind of consuming someone and how it can send them, how it could send this particular person on a dark path. And I think a lot of people like had never heard of that condition until now. So
definitely. And the thing that I also find intriguing as well is that we know there is going to be a sequel. We were putting out the link to hopefully get some more funding for it as well. And is there something you're looking forward to most going into the sequel? Is there a certain type of kill? Like, you don't have to disclose the kill specifically, but is there like a newer kill version of what you're going to do in the next one? Or is there a favorite kill that you have in the current one? Or is there a kill in the first one that you wished you could have done a bit more with?
So to all those answers, I mean, as far as the sequel goes, we've actually finished filming it now.
Nice.
Yeah, we finished a few weeks ago.
Nice.
So actually, when I was on the Jibber Jabber, I believe it was like that was just after my final day of filming. Like I literally just came on set. So
nice.
So my character spends a lot of the time in jail in the new film. So there's a new killer on loose, Chaz Porter. You see
interesting.
At various stages in the first film.
Oh, we got a double killer thing. That's a cool concept. However, like they think it's you, but you're like Not me, man. I'm locked up, and they won't let
No.
me out.
and it's Alden's best friend from the first film. So Detective Mullen from the first film is trying to probe Alden for information, which is hard to get out of someone who doesn't talk. So as far as my favorite kill of the first film is in the tower with the throat slit. I just think that's such a shot scene. I think some of the camera angles are like the drone shot I think is great, and I love the way my character sort of comes out and has that big smile on his face as he knows she's not suspecting a thing. So I think that's my favorite kill scene in the film.
Oh, awesome.
As far as one that I wish could have been more, the scene with Timmy in the cellar with the saw blades on the feet. Originally, that one was, we had these two grinders and these fake feet that were like filled with like, I think mincemeat and fake blood, and they were going to be chopped completely in half, and it was going to be a big splatter kill almost. And unfortunately, the blades were just coming up short on the day of set, and we had no chance to replace them because we only had the location for the day. So we had to improvise, and obviously it's more like done with cutaways rather than actually seeing everything happen at the time. But I mean, it's still, you still get the horrible feeling that guy's feet got chopped in half. But still, I think it would have been a really cool, it'd have been a really cool practical effect visual had we have been able to achieve it. But not everything goes right on set. So
no, that's fair. No, because like one of the things that I noticed during that scene, me personally, I really enjoyed it, but I did feel myself, I was like, I feel like they could have done a wee bit more with that, because like the thing that I liked about it gave you the sort of like, I like the fact that your killer, like your version of a killer, was borrowing elements from all other movies. You could tell from a mile off, like he was stalking people like Michael Myers would do, like he was doing the surprise jump outs as well, which like, I feel like if you're going to do them in the right places. And I feel like that's where the R.I.P. man did excel, where it felt very natural and it didn't feel very forced, where it's like, oh, they just made him jump out because, it's just a jump scare sort of thing. And that's one of the things that I did really enjoy. Also, because obviously you were obviously the killer. When it comes to like the victims and things, how much time did you actually get to spend with them on set? Was it only on the days that it obviously was for the kill scenes, or like were you like hanging out around set when they were filming like the group stuff? Anything interesting like that?
No, actually. So most of the cast, like say Callum who played Timmy, or Mia who played Nike, like I met them that first day. The first day I met them was on set, and we just hung out that day. And then obviously the scene, they were all one day shoots, so I only know Jasmine, I didn't actually really share any scenes with. I only met her on set briefly on one scene where like her and Max's character Donnie are like sitting on a bench, and I sort of appear from the bushes and just But that was the only time I ever met Jasmine on set, and I met her that day. And then I had one other scene with Max, and the same with Bruno who played Jaden as well. I only met him on the day of the kill scene. So. That was how it went, yeah, no,
that's quite cool. No, because obviously you hear other things like obviously on other like independent sets, or even just like horror sets or movie sets in general, where sometimes they will like have like an after party thing where people get to spend more time with one another, or whilst they're filming other scenes, people are like, oh, I really want to see what's going to be happening with this character, so they sort of just show up to see what's happening. So I'm just curious on that sort of aspect.
Yeah, I mean, I met like obviously I've worked with Max in the future, on these films, and Callum's like showed up for what we had for the writer's birthday, which we had like an R.I.P. man event night, which
nice.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I get to see people various times after that, but and I worked with Jasmine on a comedy called Ghoul Squad as well. Yes.
I've heard good things. I've heard good things about Ghoul Squad actually, and I'm quite intrigued on that myself, to be honest, because obviously
definitely worth a watch. It was a great.
We have to watch that one.
Because we're also very much a big, like, one of the things that we like to also do is cover comedies, but we also cover so many different things as well. So obviously we've talking a wee bit about like the RP man and things, but I also want to know some things about yourself. More like, are you, obviously I know you're a horror fan, but what are your other sort of fandoms that people might not expect that you'd be into?
I'm a big video game fan.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Yeah, massive retro game collector. I'm obsessed
Ooh.
with that. Yeah,
Ooh.
I'm a massive wrestling fan.
Okay.
I'm a massive hip hop
I
fan.
should hold this up.
Oh, Danhausen, yeah.
I mean,
I'm
I'm
more
at
of an
Sting.
old school wrestling fan, though. I'm more like the 80s and early 90s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
More than anything.
Like,
Yeah,
more like
I'm
Ric
a
Flair,
huge Sting fan. So
Sting
yeah.
fan.
Yeah, big Sting, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: since you are a big retro game fan, and like you've probably seen what's going on with Sony right now with the physical media aspect. How do you feel technically on
Ooh.
that part right there? Like,
I mean, I'm not happy about it. Like, I think it's I think it's a real shame when hearing that Grand Theft Auto 6 is only going to be digital. It makes me feel like I don't want to buy it, even though I think I will because it's Grand Theft Auto. But still, it really puts me off, because often when something came out on digital, I'd be like, oh, why? And then 6 months later, they'd release a physical version. I'd be like, well, now I want to buy this because now I actually feel like I have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as you can tell by both our backdrops, we're big mental physical media collectors. I'm the very much same with the games. It's like, I eventually gave up my collection. I shouldn't have, but I'd done it because I wanted to get a PC to start doing more stuff like this when I was younger. And me thinking, oh yeah, I could easily get them back in the future. And then realizing, oh wait, everything's skyrocketing.
It's triple the
now.
price.
Like
triple the price
that it used to be because they're doing all this stuff. And I'm like, oh no, maybe I should have kept them.
No, I mean, it sometimes is a battle. You sometimes look at them and just think like, I could actually have money if I sold these,
Yeah.
like, but then I always think like, if I sell it, then I'll eventually just want it again. Like,
Yeah,
the only reason I'm not that, I haven't bought many games for my collection for the last few years, but that's only because I've got what I want now, and so it slows down a little bit. But as soon as I sold it, I just want it again. So
Yeah,
no, I get exactly what you're saying, because I remember when I'd done it originally, I remember taking down the big boxes because it was like a trade-in deal thing that I was doing at the time. Because like it was a second-hand like PC and things. I remember taking them all and being like, "Do I really want to do this? Do I want to actually do this?" And I convinced myself, yes, because it was going to be good in the long run. It was a good choice because it made me be able to do a lot of cool stuff. But by doing so, I also had to give up a very good part of my also passion of games, because like I've been playing games for as long as I can remember, probably like yourself. I like a lot of retro games, but the issue with me is that I also want to have my movies. So movies are number one, games are second for me. And because of that, I tend to run out of shelf space quite a lot.
yeah.
it's funny because I consider myself probably more a movie person than a game person, but I prefer collecting games and I prefer owning games to owning movies. So
Interesting.
Can't figure that one out, but
No, I mean, I think maybe because you do movies all the time, it's like, it's like, maybe you just probably don't want to collect them as much. Maybe.
I don't know. I think there's something nice. I mean, I think there's something quite nice about just setting up an old console and just picking up a stack of games and thinking like, this is my evening, like.
Yeah.
There's something a little magic to that, especially like because I go back all the way back to Atari and stuff, and like I sometimes just love like sitting in front of an old TV and just putting in different cartridges.
I'm on that old school hype where sometimes I feel like I should just get an old CRT, even though my Blu-ray player is a Blu-ray player. It doubles as a DVD player. Hooking it up and watching like movies from when they released in the way they were supposed to be seen. Yeah, it's not the best quality, but there's something to be said about it. Like sometimes I refuse to upgrade DVDs to Blu-rays or vice versa, or like Blu-rays to 4K because they change it and they try to like fix it up too much. I just
I have to say, like, a lot of people don't really get what I mean by this, but sometimes when I see a film on like a 4K television or whatever the highest definition is now, like everything, like when you watch an old movie, it almost looks too clear and it looks a bit
Yeah.
strange seeing it on such a clear picture. And
They take out the grain too much. They take out too much of the grain.
it doesn't feel right seeing an 80s film looking so clear. It doesn't.
It really doesn't. Like for example, recently he actually, my friend Danny here, just actually sent me over a package with the original Halloweens on Blu-ray, and they look phenomenal because they kept the grain and stuff. And I've seen other people like review the 4Ks, and I'm like, it looks too clean. Like at least the Blu-ray, it's still got the grain. It still somewhat captures that moment. Where the newer ones, I'm like, it looks a bit too clean, and like the color is off, and like they're trying to brighten it up and make it look more. And I'm like, no, that's not the way it's supposed to look. Like, no.
No,
I totally get
I'm
that.
with you. I find it weird, and yeah.
No, of course. Oh, yeah. Also, Jabber Jabber is asking us, what are all your top three games? Sorry. So, you're the guest.
My favorite game of all time is Secret of Mana on Super Nintendo.
Nice.
Twisted Metal on the PS1, the very original one, is
Twisted Metal, awesome.
And what would be third? There's an Atari game I absolutely love, like called Boulder Dash, which I've just played.
I've heard of it, yeah.
I think that might have to take number 3.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Danny, sir, you're up next.
So I'm not as much as a gamer, but when I did play games, like when I had my just the Super Nintendo or whatever, I used to play Paperboy and Mario. But yeah, Paperboy was one of my favorite games. Like that was like my very first game. And then PlayStation, my PlayStation 2, I'll have to say the Dragon Ball Z Budokai games, like that series right there. And then of course, you can't go wrong with Tekken, man. Like I love me some Tekken. Like Tekken 3, like for that's the goated one. That's the goated one.
I think it's Tekken 7 I played, and they added some mode where it was like almost a rock paper. No, it wasn't. That was Soul Calibur that did that. It was Tekken did the super moves. They tried to add the Street Fighter super moves into Tekken, and it just felt really wrong. I thought, Tekken needs to be Tekken, and Street Fighter needs to be Street Fighter.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree. Yeah.
So for me, like I have a hard time with this because when I was a gamer, like on Xbox alone for me, I have like what I think it's like over 400,000 gamer scores, something mental like that. So I spent a lot of times, but I've got to say, probably I'm going to do it in a reverse order. For third, I have to put the Red Dead 1 and 2 together because I remember playing that when it first released and being blown away. Ironically, my brother Kevin was the one that got me the first one. And then somehow when the second one released, I got it at the same price as the first one, but it was me being able to buy it for myself. So I have a very fond memory of that as well. I've got to put, I'm sorry, I have to put Saints Row at number 2. I love Saints Row games. I feel like they got slept on too much, and I hate the fact that they went too like spacey and weird because too many people were comparing it to GTA. I felt like it was its own entity, and Saints Row 1, I feel like it's an underrated classic. I know 2 is like the holy grail to people, but to me, Saints Row 1 just has a special place in my heart. And
3 was always my favorite. I love the Saints Row the Third but 2.
Yeah, the lovely penetrator I remember from that one. And then number 1, as much as it's going to be a bit of a cliche, like the way I look basically, and everybody always says this, is it's got to be the Skate franchise. I spent hours and hours in Skate 2. Ironically, Saints Row was a game that my brother got me, and Saints Row Skate was also a game that my brother rented for me from Blockbuster back in the day, and I had 2 days at the weekend to try play as much as I possibly can, but not being able to finish it for a long time, and then I finally owned it. But me and my cousin had a love for Skate that was just into the ground. Like, I played it religiously. I would argue maybe way more than like 700 hours into Skate alone, just trying to figure out stuff. And I remember figuring out glitches and how to like bug out like missions. So there was a mission that was known for being so horrible to beat because it was so difficult that if you put like a bench in front of where it made the character glitch out so they could never land a trick because it was a game of skate. And because it was that difficult, it was at the beginning, that was the only way you could beat it until they came back and updated it with a patch because it was too difficult to beat.
Oh, do you know, I've never really got into the skate games, not because I don't like them, but just because I don't know. I've picked them up and had a tiny go, but I've never really adapted to the change of controls from the Tony Hawk's franchise.
Oh, I was a Tony Hawk kid as well. Like that's what made me go on to skate. Was like my Tony Hawk's was obviously Pro Skater 3. Obviously, I know a lot of people would have played the first or the second, but mine was 3.
I was Tony Hawk's 3 as well. That was my one.
That is what gave me my music taste. That's what gave me a lot of the things that I like because when I first met my friend Danny over here and stuff, and then we were comparing music, and he's like, "You like a lot of the same stuff as me," and I'm like, "Yeah, it comes off a Tony Hawk soundtrack from when I was a kid."
that soundtrack in Tony Hawk's 3, like quite a lot of albums I've bought have been based around a single song on that of that soundtrack, and made me a fan of quite a few artists. I hadn't heard of before. So
yeah, no, definitely like Suicidal Tendencies, and like the one that always stuck out for me on that exact game is ironic because I don't listen to any other song by them, but it's CKY 96 Better Things. That guitar riff is stuck in my head from when I was a kid. The but yeah, no. So
amazing game. It makes me want to play it now.
Trust me, same here. Especially because they done the that's a good question. Since you are a fan of the Tony Hawk franchise, what did you feel about the remakes that they did with what is it, Vicarious Vision, and then the studio that sort of took over because they decided to take Vicarious Vision and put them in Call of Duty?
Is this the 1 and 2, or
they 1 and 2, and then they done 3 and 4?
I never played the 3 and 4 remakes. 1 and 2, I think I might have been looking at things different. When I played it, like it felt like the music was really quiet, and I was just like, I really want to crank this up, and I can't. That bothered me for some reason. But I feel like maybe I just remember it being louder than it was. But
the thing is that one of the things that I had a gripe with when it came to the actual games, they didn't get the same rights as well. So they would get like some of the bigger songs, but the rest of them were replaced with like newer songs, like newer hip hop artists and like newer rock bands. But they weren't loud, and it was like, okay, cool. I felt like the first, like 1 and 2 was good. 3 and 4, I don't think you would have liked the third one as much because when I played third, I was quite upset with a lot of the changes they did because obviously it's a different time now. So, for example, do you remember on the, I think it's the map Canada with the guy like peeing off the side of the half pipe?
I don't know if I know the maps as well as you do. I mean, I haven't played it for quite a long time. But
well, put it this way. That guy got removed and he was just sitting there holding a thermos because they thought it was too offensive in today's world. So I was kind of gutted at that. And some of the other things were changed as well. Like music was changed. Like they still got like CKY and things. They brought that stuff back. But that's one of the things that I started to notice. I was like, oh, they're changing a bit too much now. And I'm not really liking it. But that's fair.
I'm a bit of a minority in the gaming world where, like, even though I appreciate the remakes and they're cool to see these games like put into modern look, there's a part of me that still always wants to play the original. I kind of like graphics looking like how they did at the time. Like I like playing the games how they looked at the time, and I'm not so into souping them. Like,
definitely. I appreciate and understand that myself. Like I'm the same. Like I played the remasters to see what they were gonna do, but it's never going to be the same as when you were playing it on the original boxy TVs or your horrible plasma screen or your TV tape combo, you know, like where you're putting in VHSs and stuff. Nothing's ever going to beat that feeling.
I agree. Like last year I bought it was like Tomb Raider, the trilogy, the first three, and I started playing it and I was like, this is really cool, but it kind of makes me, you could switch it between the original and the new graphic and the modern graphics, and I found myself just keeping it on the old graphics while playing anyway, and then I was like, what's the point of me playing this?
Very true, very true. So I have another question for you then, because you did mention the GTA earlier.
Yeah.
How did you feel when they decided to change GTA, San Andreas, Vice City, and 3? So you can't buy the originals anymore. You can only buy the definitive editions now. You can't even get the originals unless you buy it on hard copy now.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, no, you can no longer buy the originals. The only way you can get them is Yo-Ho, A Pirate's Life for me, or if you buy them physically now.
The original PS2 discs, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a shame. I don't see why they do that. Like, yeah, I mean, I suppose they're not that different. Like, the remakes of them, they felt pretty much... I know there was a bit of disaster with them when they first came out, but I played the remake when it was like, I think it had been long patched up, so it didn't seem so bad when I had to go at the remakes. But yeah, no, they should definitely have the originals available. I don't see. I'm thoroughly against that sort of thing. Like,
same. That's why I was curious, because like I remember when I first heard the information, when it was when they were first coming out, and it was when they had all the bugs. But like if you go into Steam or like GOG or anything that is like PC based, at least, other than like obviously because you have on the other ones you would have to buy them physically on it. Anyway, it's only those versions you can buy now. Like even if you go to the Rockstar's own website, it only takes you to them. There is no way to obtain the originals on PC now. And I was like, this is horrible. Why are you doing this to games? This is not game preservation. This is destroying it.
And PC, like, it's hard to get the original copies anyway, as well, if you want to play it on that format. And
they're like $200 if you want to get an original copy on some stuff. Like, you know, some people. Then this is why I hate the collecting community sometimes, is because they do it on purpose, man. Like they scalp and they just upcharge like a lot, however. So you know, you got to get you got to get them. If you want something, I always say you just go ahead and get it, man. Sometimes
rare games only get more and more expensive, I've found, and yeah, I'm glad I've got most of the things that I want now, and the few that I don't have, I probably won't buy at this stage, because unless I luckily stumble across something like a deal.
Yeah, no, of course, because like for me, like that's another thing that I like about the UK for Blu-ray hunting. Like ours are cheaper than America's, but I'm jealous of America because you see their movies, they get like lenticular covers, they get special edition like slip covers, even of DVDs. And they have like this big massive section of all these different types of steelbooks. You come here and it's like, you know, CEX, where it's like just a normal cover, and it's like, yeah, this is cool, but they've got this really cool special edition that, you know, it's the same roughly about price or maybe a wee bit more expensive, but it'd be worth owning that version because you get like, you know, like you get special things in it. Like it's like when you used to buy a limited edition game and it actually came with like a statue and stuff like that. It's like that, but for movies. Where I feel like that's also died out. What's your sort of opinion on that? I feel like nowadays, like when it comes to physical, like every now and then you might get a statue, but 9 times out of 10, the most you're going to get is like a soundtrack and like a steelbook, but that's it.
Yeah, I mean, apart from the steelbooks and stuff, I've noticed with Blu-ray in general, like it seems to have really kind of, you know, okay, yeah, the picture quality and sound and everything's gone up, but like the extras and everything you get, like compared to DVDs, we got so much more. I felt like they put so much more effort, and there's so much more you got from a DVD, like a collector's edition or something, than the Blu-ray
surprisingly, DVDs sell more than actual Blu-rays and 4Ks. Like, you know, some people just want to get, you know, the cheapest option. Like the Blu-rays and 4Ks are really just for like, you know, really just film. I would say film nerds like me and Adam, like ourselves. Sometimes you just want to have a nice ratio with a nice system or whatever. You want to have a good picture quality. But for the most part, most people just say like, just give me the standard and I'm good or whatever, for the most part, because it's cheaper or whatever.
But as well, like, I know it's a small thing, but when you turned on a DVD, like from the 2000s, they put so much effort into like the menus and the interactivity, and like you turn on a Blu-ray and it's usually just a still image with just a menu, play movie, trailer, or whatever, you know, like there's more soul in DVDs, I felt like.
Yeah, it's like how can I say it? Like the Blu-rays and the 4Ks are starting to be like more like streaming services. They just know that you want to just click on the movie and just get to it. They don't even put commercials on Blu-rays and 4Ks anymore or whatever. It goes straight to the movie or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I used to love that on the VHSs. Like, I mean, it'd be tedious now, but back when there was less to do in life, you know, at home, like you had less entertainment at your fingertips. Like, it was great watching those commercials before the
Because
film.
back then you didn't have the commercials in your face every single second with an ad on a platform or on a YouTube video or things like that. The only way you were finding out, oh, this movie's coming out soon, was that commercial. So you wanted to see it to see if it would be for you. Or like the same, you used to go to a Blockbuster and you'd look and you'd be like, right, that case looks cool, but is this one of these cases where the case looks cool and it's a bad movie, or is it going to be a good movie with a bad case? Because so many people got tricked back in the day because of that stuff.
Yeah,
you're just so right. Like I didn't even think about that, but like, yeah, it introduced me to a lot of films was the trailers before the movie on VHS. Like,
yeah, especially with the old Disney. Like, I got some of the old Disney VHSs and and like, you know, I got like a dual like VCR slash DVD player or whatever. You know, every once in a while I'll put in a VHS and like I just like seeing them old like commercials on like coming soon on Disney and everything. It's like, you know, I was like, oh man, this is some nostalgia right here.
There's a lot of charm to it, right? Like,
yeah. So, you know, I think that's awesome right there. I got a question for you. Since you love horror movies so much, who was your favorite horror icon growing up when you were a kid?
Oh, I mean, it still is. It's always been Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger.
Ooh,
okay. Is there a specific reason why Freddy out of all?
I just love the character. Like, I mean, it's not because I thought he was the scariest, but I just think I love the Nightmare on Elm Street films. And I mean, the first like slasher sort of film I watched was Candyman. That was the one that sort of got me into horror. But
yeah.
My mum was a big fan of the Nightmare on Elm Street films, and she had all like 7 of them on VHS. So I soon got into them straight afterwards, and yeah, it became sort of my favorite franchise, I guess.
What's your favorite one of this 7? Because that is always a point of contention. Because some people always say the first one, but some people have a bit of more of an outtake. So what one would you say is your favorite?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite's number 1. I think like 1 and number 3 and 4 are my 3 favorites, I'd say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, number 4 was pretty trippy or whatever. But let me ask you this. Everybody has a guilty pleasure. What do you think about Freddy versus Jason?
I love Freddy versus Jason. I got goosebumps when I watched it. I saw it in the cinema, and it was the first Nightmare on Elm Street film I got to see in the cinema. Still the only one, actually. I've never gone to see any re-screenings. But yeah, I remember sitting there, and at the start of it, I think Freddy's doing some narration. And I just got like, I got goosebumps thinking like, oh my God, I'm watching a new Freddy Krueger film. This is ridiculous.
All because they forgot about him. That's the only reason why he was just trolling Jason all the time. Is like, you know what? You guys forgot about me. Like, I don't like this. Y'all guys need to start talking about me again.
I mean, I was a big fan of Jason X as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because I feel those two almost go quite hand in hand, because they've got that same kind of attitude where they're like, for the early 2000s, they were making.
You must have forgot.
They were making like the ultimate bad movies almost. Like they knew they were silly, but they knew they were over the top, and horror fans love it. Yeah,
they're gonna come show up basically. So.
Yeah. No, definitely, because you mentioning Jason X always makes me laugh, because I always felt like it was really hated on, but ironically, it's got so much of the most iconic kill scenes in Jason X. Like when I used to, like I remember being on holiday. Like this is a weird memory to just pop in my mind. I would be on holiday in like Spain or something, watching like kill counts or the awesome kills from like Jason and things. And a lot of the Jason X kills were in there. But when I got older and started looking into like people's opinion of Jason X, I'm like, they hate this a lot for some reason, and I don't know why.
I had no idea. I actually thought it was generally considered like one of those good bad movies, but like I didn't realize that. I mean, it's not even bad, because they intentionally made it the way they wanted it, you know. I think that it came out exactly how they wanted it to come out, that film. So
I think it's just because like people can sense if you're just trying to keep the rights to the movie, and like they just know that they're not gonna put too much effort. Like it's Jason again. We already know what he's gonna do. You already know what the tropes are gonna be. But I think if you are already getting what you want and you already liking it or whatever, like as a fan point of view, you like,
yeah.
Is this movie good? No, but hey, me as a fan, I love it.
Yeah.
I would argue that the one thing that Nightmare on Elm Street did well is that the sequels. I've still not met someone that actually hates some of the sequels the same way as like Halloween fans some like hate certain the sequels or the remakes or the reboots. The same with Jason, like they don't like certain movies in the franchise. I feel like Nightmare has got less of that going on, which is quite good considering. Like for example, I'm a big Halloween fan and I liked 4, but I hated 5 because they took 4 and like retconned a lot of stuff because they didn't want to commit to it because they couldn't because they obviously right issues and stuff. But I feel like a lot of people hate on things way too much. I feel like I'm not like saying H2O was a great movie, but it's definitely a guilty pleasure for me. Like I found some of it good. Like I like, don't bring up Ends, Danny. You know what that movie does to me.
Resurrection.
The thing is, I would rather Busta Rhymes dropkick and Michael than whatever that was because at least there's funny parts of that, and even if it's bad, it's funny bad. Ends is for me. Specifically, in my personal opinion, it's just a bad movie. His story's all over the place. They're having Michael not do anything, even though this is his last movie in this trilogy. He has a fight with Laurie that makes no sense. Like, at least when H2O, when it was 20
and
years
he's
later.
getting beaten up easily by a young kid that for no reason.
Like, it's nothing against the actor, but you see, trying to buy that guy as like a teenager when he clearly looks 30. I'm sorry, it was hard to believe. I was like, usually I can disband it because obviously, and generically in most Hollywood productions, they're always at least in their early 20s to mid 20s playing teenagers. So that's fine. But that guy did not look like a teenager, and I'm like, I'm trying to believe that this guy's a teenager and he's overpowering Michael. Michael somehow transporting his powers onto him. And everybody was going off their head about the Thorn trilogy, but had the same premise.
I mean, I've never seen Halloween Ends.
Thank God! You avoid it. You don't have to. You don't need to watch it. You don't need to watch it.
I don't know you feel about this, but I actually quite liked the first one of the trilogy, the modern trilogy. Halloween. I enjoyed that one, and then I watched Halloween. Is it Kills?
Yeah.
I watched that one, and I thought it was an incoherent mess, and it was like awful.
See, that's just the thing with Halloween Kills. It's like me and my guy right here always say that. I don't know if you watched the Star Wars, the new Star Wars movies, like The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi has the fans like divided. You either like it or you hate it. That's how Halloween Kills is, or whatever. Either people like it or they hate it.
Was Last Jedi the second one or the third one? I can't remember.
Second one.
Second one. Okay, yeah, that was a weird one too, wasn't it? It was like
it's either you hate it or you love it or whatever. Me personally, like I like Kills or whatever for what the concept was. I understand the Evil Dies Tonight is a little,
that was terrible. Evil Dies Tonight. Okay, why is it the thing that made it so unbelievable for me is because they also had the guy from Breakfast Club, the wee nerdy guy. Obviously, he's over now, and I'm like, that is the guy from Breakfast Club. Why is he running about with a baseball bat saying "Evil Dies Tonight"?
No, I mean, it was seeing that film for me was enough to not want to watch the next one. But like, and then when people told me the next one was bad, it sort of
it was horrible. It was horrible.
People went out of their way to say that that's worse than Resurrection on more than one occasion. More people are putting Ends lower than Resurrection now, and no one thought we'd see the day. No one thought we'd see the day.
Resurrection feels like a weird dream. Like I only saw it once.
It's a fever dream.
Like one of those. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it existed. Like.
I was them trying to play into that new stereotype, like the new early 2000s, like webcam shows. They've got webcams on. That was the first memory of Halloween I ever had because that's the first one I ended up watching with my brother when I was younger.
Oh, wow.
I could only remember because it's the scene with the ginger girl, and she's in the basement, and Michael comes out of nowhere and just like sticks her on the fence, and like I'm like, whoa! I'm like, okay, what are we watching? I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, yo, I guess we're going on for the ride then.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I talked to my brother about it. He doesn't remember it, but I remember it so vividly because it was the first thing I remember seeing Halloween as.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I find that like the films you watch when you're younger, because I can watch a film like 3 years ago and I've almost forgotten everything about it because I've just seen films where like stuff I watched when I was like 12 or 13 and I've only seen once. So I can remember quite a lot of it. Like, I think it's those films that make more impact. The films you watch at a younger age, they often have a lot more impact on you and they stay in your mind for longer, even if, you only saw them once. And
definitely. Like, the funny thing is, my brother would tell you this as well. I was terrified of Halloween as a kid. Anytime I heard Michael's music, I would run away from it as a child. But now, as an adult, I love it. And I'm like, and I'll go back, like, obviously, once I got them recently, I've done a rewatch. And I was sitting thinking to myself, how could I have ever been scared of these?
Yeah.
Scary. And I'm like, but it's because you're such an impressionable mind. So it's so more easier for it to interact with you in that way. Because I also remember like watching the Chuckies as a younger kid as well. And I always found it funny because for me, I always found it weird that people were scared of a doll because in the back of my head, even as a kid, I was like, why don't you just run in front of him?
Yeah.
Just kick him. Yeah. Just kick him.
There's only one movie that as a grown man I still cannot watch to this day, and it'll always be the first Exorcist. Still can't watch it. I still can't watch it. Like, that's that one movie where like I watched it way too young or whatever, and like I can never go back to it. Like, I have attempted to try. I'm like, nope, I can't do it. Like,
it's one of those. It's a masterpiece, the original. But yeah, I mean, I had that with, not to adulthood, but necessarily, but like Stephen King's It. Like, I saw it, I was 8 years old. It must have been one of the first horrors I ever saw, if not the first. And that.
Are you talking about the TV series or the
the TV one? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Scared me so much as a kid. There's nothing more terrifying than a clown that adults can't see that eats children. It's just like
I watched the TV movie when I was like 13 years old. I said, y'all guys were scared of this or whatever, like, but I had to understand, like, because like we just said, like, when you're young it's scary, but when you're like a teenager or a grown adult, you're like, this ain't nothing. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I used to look at my posters and expect them to like wink at me and then start dripping blood. Like, as a kid, I'd just be there. I was traumatized by that film. But then years later, I watched it. Eventually, it took until I was about like 16 or something when I was just like, you know what, I can rewatch this. And because it scared me, I think it meant so much to me. And it's like probably it's in my top 10 ever films, I think. Like, I absolutely love that. Like, and I think half the reason I love it is because I don't know, it has that
you conquered your fear with it.
Yeah.
You conquered your fear. Let me ask you this, since we're on like it, like, what did you think about like the two movies in Welcome to Derry? Like, have you watched those yet?
I haven't watched Welcome to Derry. I was a bit anti them remaking it because I love the original so much, and I didn't want anyone but Tim Curry to play that role. Yeah, it's just like I don't really like the idea of anyone else playing Freddy Krueger. Like, I eventually did watch it, and it was okay. I didn't think it was a scratch on the original. I think less is more, and I think they really overdid a lot of the scenes. Like, even the bit with Georgie at the start, they absolutely killed it by. It was so much more effective, just Tim Curry's teeth, and then that was it. It left everything to the imagination. Where when he actually like rips his arm off and then pulls him in, it just.
You can float too. You can float too.
Yeah. It just. I don't know. It
was really brutal. That's what you were probably looking at. Whereas, like, the other one is like, it was scary, but kind of lighthearted too at the same time. Like, even though the kid's getting his,
it was left more up to the imagination in the original TV miniseries. The funny thing is, I have a funny story with that as well because I've seen that quite young as well with my brother. Ironically, he doesn't remember this either, but it was in Spain. So I didn't even get to watch it in English. It was in Spanish. So
oh wow!
Even more weirder for me.
What, the remake? Or...
No, the original.
The original.
The original
Oh, wow,
TV series.
okay.
And I was sitting there like, oh, this is scaring me, but I don't also know what he's saying. He just looks creepy. Because obviously, Tim Curry's like, you know, a masterpiece when it comes to acting. He's done so many great things. But the fact, like, as a kid, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was about 7 at this point. Like, I was a 7-year-old watching a Spanish version of it. It started plays with your mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of the worst films. I'm sure, like, the remake as well, like, showing that to children now, like, just the concept of Pennywise the Clown is like it's just something to traumatize children.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the 2 It movies. Like I love the first one. I believe the first one is really good, but then the second one is like, it's all right. You know, it's just like it's okay. You know, but like I didn't find them scary. I found them more funny because like the kids were like actually funny. Like they were when they were doing like especially the first one, like who's the kid with the glasses or whatever that kept on making all the jokes.
Richie.
Yeah, Richie. Yeah, that's my guy right there. Richie is freaking hilarious, man. Like
one thing I really liked about the remake was the casting between the kids and the adults. They really look like they really look like the adult versions of those children. Like the guy played Eddie, like the kid and the adult for that character, like they just it just looked like the same face. Like it was amazing casting.
Yeah. I also recommend that you do watch Welcome to Derry. Surprisingly, like it's pretty good. Like it was so good to where I even got the 4K version of it or whatever. Like so I think it was a pretty good series.
A little bit of backstory for you. For Danny to do that, it has to be very good because in our friend group we are known as the people that tend to go against the grain. Like we won't just blow up a movie because we blow up a movie because
push back a lot.
Like we push back a lot and go, right, okay, you're saying this is great, but what about this part? And then they're like, but and they try to like run it under the ground, and we're like, no, you can't be doing that. What about this part though?
I can be bad like that. Like I've gone to see films with friends before, and then I've spoke about them afterwards, and then someone's asked my friend, what do you think about the film? Was it any good? And my friend was like, I thought I liked it, but then I spoke to Owen and now I think I hate it.
It's like,
yeah, I can be bad. Like
it's
that.
like, don't give me your favorite franchise, man. Like, because sometimes I'll find something in it. It's like, it's really.
So, for example, right, this is the best way to explain it. Obviously, we're named the Dynamic Duo podcast. Clearly, Batman fans, obviously well versed in that. We have a very controversial take when it comes to the Batman series, right? And it's not that we're saying that it's bad. We're just saying as Batman products, they're not very good Batman products, right? We don't necessarily, well, we call it the Nolan effect, right? He grounded Batman so much that now he physically can't change. Like every time you see Batman now, it's always dark and depressed, and he never gets out of this. He never ends up to go get his Robins anymore. He doesn't do any of these things. And it's not that we're saying the Nolan movies were bad. They're great Nolan films. But as Batman media, you were there more for the villains than you were Batman himself. And they also stripped out a lot of Batman aspects from Batman, is our opinion. A lot of our friends don't like that or agree with that, but we give reasons for it.
Yeah.
You know what's really funny? I just said about me making a friend hate a film. That was Dark Knight.
Uh-oh.
One of us.
That was actually so funny that you brought that up straight afterwards. I
like the Dark Knight, but I despise the Dark Knight Rises.
That was actually I really didn't like that film. Dark Knight I don't actually dislike.
You find problems with it.
See it as the masterpiece that everyone does. I preferred Batman Begins out of the three. That was
I actually like Batman Begins. I think it's like I always say this when it comes to origin stories. I think Batman Begins is actually the best origin story, in my opinion. Like superhero origin stories, it's at least top 3 superhero origin stories.
And I think it's Nolan. Like really, it's more of a sort of confined film where I think like Dark Knight was like a load of good ideas and perhaps too many to the detriment of the film. It's
Have you watched Heat? Have you watched the movie Heat before?
I have. I'm a fan of that.
That like if you watched Heat, that's the Dark Knight. If you like the Heat,
Yeah.
that Dark Knight, it's pretty much frame by frame. Like like no one even said like he's a big fan of the movie. He even said it like like the first area. I mean like the first scene, he like copied like exactly from it. Like if you go watch Heat and then go watch the Dark Knight, you're like, oh yeah.
Wow.
It's true. And also, he also had Batman in it because Val Kilmer was in it.
He was, yeah, he was. I'd never made that comparison, but it's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah, just go rewatch Heat,
it
and
was
then after
excellent.
that, go
Yeah.
watch Dark Knight, and then you're gonna be saying like, oh man, okay, like he literally got.
See, for us, it's not that we hated on the movie per se. It was just because, as Batman fans, I would argue we have the bigger Batman collection out of all of our friends. Like, we have everything from Batman Beyond, the 2003, the Batman. We have everything that you can imagine when it comes to Batman. And Nolan outright said he just didn't want the Batmobile because he didn't like it. He took Batman out of the Batcave, and that's why he was in the White Room for half of the Dark Knight, was because he didn't want him in the Batcave because he didn't think it was integral to the character. And I'm like, those are the two main integral parts of that character. Everybody knows Batman.
The studio literally had to force him to do the Batmobile. They said, like, Nolan, we get it. You're a great director, and that we understand your vision, but we gotta sell toys, dog. Like you gotta give us a Batmobile, man. You gotta fine. That's why he destroyed it in the second one, by the way. Like
that's why he blew it up in the second one, is because he gave it to the first one, where I would argue the best Batman that he did was Batman Begins. Hands down, that was closer to like what we were wanting. I don't know what happened with Dark Knight. I've always been a firm believer. I like Heath Ledger's Joker, but he's not the Joker I wanted in the film, because it was a different take of the Joker. It wasn't the Joker I was used to. It was more of an anarchist, sort of like gangster style version of Joker, where I like the old school, maniacal, actually insane person, where he done some of those things. But like, if you actually pay attention to the movie, and someone actually done like a whole breakdown on YouTube that I think you should check out, he was doing a better job of cleaning up the streets of Gotham than Batman was. He was going over, he was like killing all the gangsters. He was burning all their money. Like that whole scene where he's burning all their money and things. It's like he was doing a better job than Batman was at this point.
And also, there was somebody gave another good theory. They said that Heath Ledger's Joker was more Riddler than the actual Riddlers back in the day. And I'm like, yeah, he did. Like, because he used to leave clues a lot, like the Riddler did or whatever, like he always stayed mysterious or whatever. And like,
rhyming scheme, like, how do you want to know how I got these scars and all these sort of things?
Yeah.
He's giving riddles out and things, where I just felt like I liked his performance. Don't get me wrong, for what it was, phenomenal performance. No one can deny that. But as a Joker, I just didn't see the Joker acting the way he did. And so many people can disagree with that. Like, one of the things we will always say, you can disagree with us, we're not going to get annoyed at it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm say, like, I'm not. I never thought of it like that, but even though like I'm a fan of the Batman movies, I'm not like a Batman fan sort of necessarily outside of the
movies.
Yeah. So I didn't have that same sort of like view on Heath Ledger's Joker. I was just like, okay, it's a different Joker. One of the things I was really disappointed with in the film was that I felt they really wasted Aaron Eckhart playing Two-Face. I thought that I love Aaron Eckhart as an actor. And I think
okay, that's probably why. Because like I was gonna say, I thought he did a pretty phenomenal job from Two-Face, because I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. Like, I love Batman Forever, but like he did way better than Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, I mean, I agree in that sense. But like, when I heard he was playing Two-Face, because I think I just seen like Thank You for Smoking, which I really love that film. I think he's so good in it. And I was like, this guy's going to be an amazing Two-Face. And you spend most of the film waiting for him to become Two-Face, and then I feel like once he becomes Two-Face,
he was more focused on Rachel, like Rachel
before, and like,
See, you guys have your problems with your villain. Well, I'm good. The reason why I hate Rises so much is because like I'm a huge fan.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Nightfall. So Chuck Dixon's like comic book series or whatever. And the thing is, one of the major things like any Batman fan knows, Batman never gives up. Okay, the fact that
he gave up in that film.
the fact that he gave up about 3 to 5 years of he was just like Gotham. He just let Gotham City just go out of nowhere, just like yeah, Gotham's gonna be fine or whatever. Like just I'm gonna go into hiding or whatever. He's like, whoa, wait a minute, hold. That's number one. Number two, we got Bane. We got Bane right here. Like look, think about this. We had all those trailers of Bane being this tyrant, like taking down people and everything, like being like the number one threat to Batman. It's like you could arguably say that like outside the Joker, physically, combat wise, Bane is Batman's number one option. Like that's his number one op right there. We didn't get that because he wasn't doing it for like himself. He was doing it for a woman. It was like he was doing it for Talia. It is like it was the biggest bait and switch ever. And I can't forgive Nolan on that. And then
also the undertones as well between the relationship dynamic between Bane and Talia. If you actually rewatch it as an adult, it kind of scared me a bit because the implication of the relationship that they have. Watching it as an adult, it takes a whole different meaning. And I was like, how did no one catch on to this? We've talked about it with our friends, but basically...
And even they had to, even though they did not want to give us that point, they had to say, yeah, okay. Yeah, right, dude. It's like...
And basically, without going too much into it, because YouTube guidelines are a bit thingy nowadays when it comes to that stuff, basically, they try to imply that Bane loved Talia as a child, but not in a family way. Because he was like writing her letters and stuff about his love for her. And I'm like, okay, I'm not touching that one. Okay, no.
Yeah. It was like really, really weird and everything. And then like on top of that too, and this was the number one thing, and Adam will know what I'm talking about. The Robin scene. That's where I just wanted to I literally wanted to throw my Coke, like the rest of my Coke. That I spent like $13 on and throw it at the screen and said, Nolan, you owe me $20 because no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. You have who played Robin again? I can
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's like, he said he figured out he was Batman already because he just stared him in the mirror for some reason. That's just weird. And then on top of that, at the end, he just says like, you know what? I'm gonna go by my actual name, Robin. No, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that
as well. It's like it's so unbelievable that Batman would meet a detective of all people, know him for the whole of 5 minutes, and then leave him the Batcave. Like that is not happening. That is not Batman. Like if you know Batman, he's very protective of who gets to know his secret identity. That's why the whole Bat family exists. And ironically, when it comes to Batman, I'm actually more of a Nightwing fan. And the fact that we don't get to see a good version of Richard Grayson anymore because of Batman and Robin really irks me.
Yeah. So, that was just my main thing on why I hate Rises all the time. And then also when he's climbing out of the pit, one of my friends actually told me that is a representation of their version of the Lazarus pit. And I'm like, man, I even hate it even more. You shouldn't have told me that. It's like I hate it.
I'm with you. I didn't enjoy that film at all.
The magical knee brace that Batman gets his superpowers from, taking 5 years off or whatever. He gets all his. See, the way you could have done this movie better is you don't have Batman take off. You have Batman still keep on fighting. But that Batman is getting older. He's starting to the fights that he used to dominate it. You could have had him kind of getting roughed up a little bit more. He's slowing up a step or whatever. That's how you could have done that better. You could have easily just done it like that. Batman is getting older, not Batman giving up and coming back. No, you don't do that. No. Batman just never gives up. Ever. I'll never forgive it. No, Nolan. No.
You could tell that he's very passionate about this debate.
The main thing I just remember shining in that film was Michael Caine. I thought he He was the
Oh, yeah,
strongest
Michael
part
Caine.
of that film, if I remember.
Yeah.
Like, I think him as Alfred, he was actually strongest as Alfred in the third one, I thought. But that's the
And
only
that's another
positive I took away from it. Like,
and that's another reason why I hate the movie. Because guess what? I would never give up on Bruce either. Like,
okay, fair.
it's like I despise the existence of that movie. This is supposed to be the serious take on Batman, right? For everybody that makes fun of Batman and Robin for it being campy and wacky and killed the franchise, I give you that one. You know, even though it's a guilty pleasure of mine, I like
that.
it and everything.
I
think
like that one.
it's a guilty pleasure. But with this one, this is supposed to be the serious version, the serious take. We're supposed to take Batman serious. Like we like this is not your grandpa's Batman. This is not Adam West or anything like that. This is Christian Bale, arguably that has the worst Batman voice of all time. But we sorry, I can go down. I have to calm myself down.
Real rabbit hole of this.
I literally can make a 5-hour essay on why Rises is just the complete like dog water of a movie. But I don't want to hold you up. I'm just saying like Nolan, like for me, like for that particular movie, because I like the first two. For that movie, did a horrible job on the serious take on Batman. Like it is the worst serious Batman take ever when it comes to Batman. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, there was the last Batman film I ever saw. I haven't seen any of them ones since. It almost scared me off of them, I think. But like,
the one thing I will tell you, you can watch the Robert Pattinson The Batman. It's a lot better than what people were giving it credit for at first, and it's actually became so popular now that they're getting annoyed that it keeps getting pushed back because it's been getting delayed a lot. Because they delayed it for some J.J. Abrams project about space, and everybody's like, "But why? No one knows about this movie yet." But we want to see Batman Part 2. I would say watch it because it borrows a lot from film noir movies, and not just that. Batman's an actual detective, and Gordon and Batman are actually friends in this, and they actually spend more than 10 minutes of screen time together, and they actually work together to try figure out what's going on. And it was actually a really good take. Obviously, people wrote it off because Twilight Boy, but I think that's a disservice to Robert
gone
Pattinson.
too far from that now. Like,
Yeah. I will say this, like, for me, like, I like the first two halves of the movie, however, but then that third act to me was just not that good, however, and the pacing can be a little slow for me. I have to keep on saying for me and everything, but overall, other than like I didn't like the Riddler and everything. But other than that, like for the most part, I enjoy it for what it is. But I highly recommend if like let's just say the Batman wasn't for you, watch the Penguin show. That one's pretty good. Yeah, the Penguin show is really good.
Like that a TV series?
Gotham.
Yeah, it's a TV show. Yeah, so that's a good one.
Sopranos meets Gotham is awesome. So if you've ever seen The Sopranos, if not, you should probably watch that too. But it's so phenomenal. It's like Colin Farrell as Penguin. It doesn't look like him, doesn't sound like him. He kills the role so much that people could actually argue the show's better than the movie. Tell me the last time that's been the case.
Well, yeah,
I remember.
Not often.
Yeah.
So we gave you some recommendations. Like, you like the next time, if you want to come back and just say like, "Hey, I watched the Batman and the Penguin. Like, it wasn't that bad." Like,
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I'll check them out. Like, I'll check out the Batman and the Penguin show.
Yeah,
they're called.
Made by the same people.
Cool.
So,
yeah. I mean, I'll venture in because I like the original. I like all four of the original ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I have love for them all in different ways, but like, and then, Batman Begins was great. I thought I have my issues with Dark Knight, but I didn't dislike it. But then, Dark Knight Rises, I thought was awful. That's my consensus, I think nothing beats the original Tim Burton Batman for me, like the original.
Okay, fair it is.
That's what's up.
So, one of the other things I would like to ask you, is there any other projects that are coming up for you? Is there anything you would like to promote yourself or just anything else you're doing in general?
I don't have any other after RIP Man 2. That's I don't have anything else in the horizon yet. So I've got that coming out, so that's one to look out for. Yeah, the only other thing, I'm going to my first convention in September.
Ooh, nice.
Sessions in Nottingham. I'm going to be there on the 26th and 27th. So if anyone's about in Nottingham, come say hi.
Come say hello.
Yeah.
Keep it professional, but keep it courtesy as well.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's it really for me. Obviously, Ghoul Squad has been out for a few months, and please everyone check out that. It's on Tubi and Plex. That's great fun. Recommend. Yeah.
I'm definitely going to check it out because I like the premise of it, because like I have a partner. She's really into all that like ghost hunter stuff, or like all like the like murder mystery stuff and all that sort of thing. But I find them cringy. So when people are doing like a mockumentary, that type of stuff, I love it, because it's like, yes, this is how I watch it. While she's been like, oh, it's so scary, and I'm sitting there going, nah.
No, this is kind of very much parodying like some of the ghost hunter documentaries. So this is what would happen if those people did that, and they were really, really awful at it and made an ass of themselves every time they're on camera. And
like that's the thing. That's why I loved it. Like I know that obviously these shows are supposed to be taken seriously, but for me as a person, like I've always seen the show the way you're describing that comedy movie is. It's like I try to take it seriously, but they're like, Jeff, somebody moved like 2 centimeters to my right, and it's like, okay. It's like they over dramatize it sometimes for me, and I'm just like, there's too much there.
I'm completely with you. I used to work in a scare attraction in London, the London Tombs, and they said it was haunted. I worked there for 5.5 years. I never saw anything, but they used to do these. They used to do these like haunted nights, and I never actually was at one of them, but one of my friends was working at one of them, where they have like the professional people who connect with the ghosts, and people were like all paying to have this woman like channel the ghosts around them. And my friend who was working there, she got like really bored and started just doing like random knocks and like making scary noises and stuff. And she was thinking she was just obviously taking the piss, and it was like being really obvious what she was doing. But this ghost person was milking everything she did. It was just taking every little thing she gave her, and like
I can imagine. I'm the type of person like your friend. If I were like, I remember going to the Edinburgh dungeon, right? And I was like, I get like 15, 16. So I go in and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see something scary. I get the most unenthusiastic jester I've ever met in my life, being like, you're gonna be going on the death spiral and all this stuff. And I'm like, could you at least put some effort into it? Come on, man.
Enthusiasm, man.
And then I go through, and I'm laughing the whole way through this. I'm with my parents, and they're like, oh, don't stay scared. I'm going through the entire thing, laughing my head off, because the jump scares are this, like, slightly somebody tapping you, or like, we went and we sat and we were learning about the history of like the murderers of like Edinburgh and stuff. And then there's a guy pretending to chop up my mother. And I'm like, how can I find this scary? It's funny. My mum's apparently getting chopped up behind a curtain. Okay, kill.
Yeah, I think it's still meant to be kind of family fun, those things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the dungeons and the Edinburgh dungeons. And was it like where they'll like I remember I went to the London dungeons one, and they put me in a chair, and they were like slitting my wrists and then making the sound of it, and
stuff like that. And I just couldn't take it seriously. And then you walk through like this mirror room, and I just find it funny because I can remember watching someone walk right into a mirror, and I was just like like I couldn't help but laugh, because clearly they could tell they couldn't go that way.
And then I remember the dungeons, it would end with this, you sat on this big moving, like, it was like a sort of 3D cinema thing, and you were just shooting bats, like virtual. You had like it was like a light gun game, and you were like shooting bats at the end of it, and that was the end of the
see, for us it was like a drop ride that you got.
There was those. Yeah, like the little hanging thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, like they would drop you and stuff, but I just couldn't take it seriously, because obviously I'm a big, like, that's what I'm saying. like I'm a big fan of horror, so I was going in expecting like, oh, this is going to be like, oof, there's like going to be scares and like that people are going to really be into it. But half the people just felt like they didn't care enough, and they were just like, I'm doing this for a paycheck. I'm going to go home after this. I don't care if it's that entertaining. And I'm like,
it can sadly often be like that. Like,
yeah,
I like to think that when I worked in that kind of place, I put full effort in, but I definitely worked with some people who didn't.
Yeah, no, of course,
Not
of course.
around that, yeah. So, yeah, I totally get what you mean.
Definitely. So obviously with R.I.P. Man 2, obviously I don't know obviously how much you can give out, but what are you gonna what do you reckon that makes the second one better than the original, or do you think they're on par with one another?
Well, I hope it's going to be better. Like, Jamie seems to be very adamant that like it has to be better. So, I'm going to follow with his. No, I'm very excited to see it. It's going to be ramped up. There's going to be more gore, more scares, more action. It's going to everything's going to be ramped up like every good horror sequel should deliver with. It's there's going to be because Chaz Porter, the character, I don't know if you remember from the first film, he had half of his tongue removed. He off out half of his tongue, so he has a where Alden's obsession is with teeth, Chaz's obsession is with tongues. So expect a lot of tongue removal.
Oh, very interesting. That's really up my street legs. Like, because obviously it started with teeth, now it's tongues. So,
it's another part of the mouth. Because I always say with like teeth really get to people because the mouth is such a personal area, and the idea of some violating it with these heavy duty tools is like, it doesn't make people feel comfortable. And like I think the tongue is very much the same. Like it's something that the idea of someone torturing it is a horrible idea. Like
yeah, no, definitely, because that's what I'm saying. That's what I like about that obviously the R.I.P. Man 1 and now Sounds by the 2 is that you're doing something more unique with it, because I feel like horror, especially this day and age, is so contrived of the same stuff. Like the last couple of years, all I've seen is demon movies, and there can be good ones, but I'm getting sick and tired of them. And when you do get a slasher, the only one that's really doing well is Terrifier. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not a big fan of the Terrifier series. I just,
really?
For me specifically, it's just gore. Like to me, I watch it and I go, there could be more to this. Like we still don't really know a lot about art. Like you do, there's like loose stories, but it's nothing like, right, this is how art came to be type thing. It's just like, look, art is doing the most heinous, horrible stuff. And you're like, okay, go.
Yeah, because like when it came to the Terrifier series, like some of my friends, they were telling me like, yo, Danny, man, dude, this is it, man. This is gonna be the movie, man. This is gonna scare you. Like you had people talking about like people were like throwing up in this movie, and I was like, okay, all right, let me watch it and everything. I'm like watching it. I'm like, okay, all right, she gets cut in half, and like, oh yeah, all right, they're gonna cut it like that, and it's like, I don't know, man. I was just like, maybe because I'm older or something. Like I just like when I was watching all three of them, I'm like, I don't see what's this being like so terrifying and graphic to where people are throwing up in the movie theater, or maybe kids got weak stomachs or something. I don't know. Like, I just not seen it. Like, that's just me.
I'm with you. I don't find it really scary, but I do actually love those films. Well, the second one was a little iffy for me, but it was a bit too long and went in some weird lore. But like, but yeah, like I thoroughly enjoy them just because I think, just because of the sadisticness of the character and the fact he's just like loving every second of this horrendous thing. And I think the jarringness of his behavior mixed with how brutal what's going on, I find quite disturbing. I don't find it scary, but I find it
disturbing,
shocking and disturbing. I enjoy that.
See, for me, I would never say they're like bad movies. Like, don't get me wrong, the practical effects are cool. Like the concept is cool for me. But it was just for me,
the scary part.
when I go to horror, you want I always feel like you want something to keep you on your toes. You want something to be constantly lurking. Where like when you finish that movie and you're walking home, you're like looking behind you, being like, right, I'm on easy. But I feel like a lot of these movies, like the reason why I don't get like that with demon movies, for example, is because I've seen every variation of these things now, where it's like, yeah, she was possessed and she turns her head 180 degrees, and it's like, "Ah," and it's like, okay, cool, but can you do something more unique? Or because it feels like demonic movies usually just depend on what they're doing with the mouths, or like them hanging off a building or a ceiling and stuff, which is cool in concept, and obviously it's great and it works, but I feel like it's overplayed now in the horror genre. That's why with like R.I.P. Man, even though, you know, people are like, obviously clearly it's an independent, it's got such a unique vibe to it that I like, because it's got something different where, yeah, it follows a slasher thing, but it's coming at it with a different perspective, where it's not necessarily just focusing on just the kills. And, you know, you do have like similar tropes, but not like fully like massive tropes is what I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I hadn't actually thought about the fact you're saying like so many about all the demon movies, but yeah, there is actually like quite a lot. I was thinking like, yeah, the new Evil Dead films, and then I saw like Lee Cronin's Mummy, and then I can't remember what it's called, but the one with the kid with the knife that bites on the knife. They're all kind of similar concepts, aren't they? And like, I say, and I think one thing that I've always thought that R.I.P. Man's is cool about R.I.P. Man is that like it's a sort of teen, it is a teen, even though it's a crime thriller as well, it's a teen slasher at heart as well. And there's also that sort of thing hasn't been done so much in the UK, like, so I think that's kind of I think it's nice to have a sort of a UK slasher villain with a presence, and a presence, motives, and a lot of gimmicks to him. Like, there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of cool things about him, like with obviously like the texting, the teeth, and the chattering teeth, calling cards, and the fact that he, with the mouth guard, the fact that he steals the tooth, like there's a lot to that character. And I think that's one of the things that really stands out about the film, is that I think he's a memorable character that hopefully.
No, definitely. That was my biggest takeaway from the film. It was that I loved the friend group and things like that, but it was just your character had me a bit more interested, because I'm like, this is quite intriguing. Like the way, also it's just the way like how you show up in scenes. It is very much so like old school slasher, where there's like they're just walking down an alleyway and all of a sudden you're like, hi. And it's like, I love that stuff. I love it when that's what happens, because I feel like when it comes to horror, the best variations of that is psychological horror, where your brain's trying to think out, how did he get there? Why is he doing that sort of thing? Because it makes you ask questions. It makes you actually involved in the movie, where I feel like I said, in a lot of horror movies nowadays, it's very predictable. You're like, oh yeah, they're going to walk in there and they're going to die. All right, killed. Oh, look, there's the happy couple, which, you know, I can't say the actual word for them because it rhymes with happy, but you know they're going to die first because they're clearly the non-virgin trope and things like that. And they still very much so play into those sort of stereotypes even to this day, which I find quite bizarre, because you'd expect them to change it a wee bit, but usually, like the more innocent girl is going to be the last survivor girl and things like that. So that's why I feel like something with the R.I.P. Man, what I liked was because of the differences of that sort of thing, was it's like it wasn't playing on tropes too much, and it was just something original. Where that's one like trope I would love to see in a horror movie. Instead of it being the good girl always surviving, actually switch it up and make it maybe one of the quote unquote bad girls surviving for a change. Because I feel like horror has became a point where it's stagnated. You know, they're trying to get Friday the 13th out now. They're trying to get like a new show out. They're trying to do a new Nightmare on Elm Street because they finally got the rights for that sorted out as well. And I've heard
they're rebooting the Halloween series.
They're also going to try do another reboot of the Halloween series again after these ones. So I hope they do something different, because as a horror fan yourself, have you noticed those types of things? Like, don't get me wrong, there's always a place and time for homages and, you know, calling back to older movies, but there's also a place for originality as well. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and I mean, some films, like obviously, I feel like sometimes films will have a character that you think like that character's never going to survive, and sometimes somehow they do. Like there's sometimes the arsehole can redeem themselves, or sometimes and sometimes there is that little switch, and like the character that you think you're following one character as the main character, and then suddenly like that one dies like halfway through. Like I think one quite good example for it, I really love this film, is Hostel. And you feel like you're following one guy. You feel like one guy is clearly the main guy because he's the more kind of he's the more wholesome one out of the group, and then suddenly he dies and it switches, and you're suddenly thrown into the guy that you think is like the secondary friend is the main guy throughout the rest of it. And I got that impression that the other guy was the main character, and I thought that was quite an interesting switch. You're just like, oh, well, we've got this guy left now, and like.
No, definitely, because that's one of the things that, like, that's why I was saying, like, for me, that's what made the RIP Man, and that's what I'm so excited. I'm actually excited to see what this RIP Man 2 is going to be about. Is because now it's like the tongue thing, and like there's a lot of stuff that's going on that I'm intrigued on what's going to happen with the characters and things. So it's good to feel like that, especially about like an independent horror as well, because I feel like you say, there's no enough UK based sort of like slashers, or like, to be fair, that's another thing. One of the things that we like to joke about on this channel, and one of the things I've always liked to joke about, is proper Scottish representation, because you get Scottish representation, right? You do, right? But it's always like Highland accents, or like, you know, it's like very like, I would like to say potionized, like, you know, Sean Connery being like shaking my teenage, like all that sort of stuff. But we've never really got, like, I would find it funny if someone came out and made like a Scottish horror, like a Scottish slasher about like just a Ned with like the very bad Scottish accent being like, "Here you wee bam," because I think it would be great for a horror comedy. But I feel like what made RP Man good is because it's got the English, like it's got the UK slasher, because a lot of other countries, we don't tend to get our own slashers, but all the big ones are usually from America.
Yeah. No, it's a very American concept, and I think, I think it's hopefully going to be RIP Man's niche, and hopefully the second one will follow suit, and people will enjoy that one just as much or more, and hopefully it will continue on to be a franchise, and that's what I'm hoping, at least, anyway.
No, fingers crossed for you as well.
And hopefully other horror, like it will open the doors, maybe, possibly, I don't know, to other UK slashers, maybe. Maybe we'll get a Scottish slasher sometime soon. And
anytime anybody that wants Owen, great actor, try get in contact with him. Come on, let's get him some roles, because this guy killed it as RIP Man. Like,
yeah, he did.
He was my favorite part of this film. So make sure you're checking him out. Go into his socials. As his name at Owen.
Thank you so much. And
not a problem. Of course.
If anyone ever has any idea, anything like they think I could possibly be involved in, then absolutely, please get in contact. Love to hear.
But I think it's time to sort of wrap it up, just because obviously we want to be cautious of your time as well. But anyway, guys, this has been Owen. Check out the RIP Man 1. It's everywhere that you could imagine, like Amazon Prime, Tubi, these sort of places. Also, keep an eye out for the RIP Man 2, because that is great. Also, go check out his movie Ghoul Squad as well, because I've heard good things about that too. So I have been Kane and Wolf. That has been MMA King Chris Jr. And that is Owen. So take it away with your little intro.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Peace out.